Hello everyone, good evening, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, a five-figure channel with an authentic vibe. I thought yesterday was good too. We was just discussing it off camera, hitting this iconic milestone, which we're going to have stuff coming out over the weekend and other bits. So not necessarily about that today, but we have still had fantastic news, which is that AMAD DIALLO has signed a new contract until 2030. Just give me initial thoughts on that. We're going to dive into other things. We've got other tiny topics like Kvaratskhelia, Marcus Rashford, Christopher Favell. But yeah, the initial news is breaking. He's staying. That can only be good news, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was also quite pleased to hear that there were other teams involved, but then he didn't consider them as an option, and he was hell bent on staying. And it's something that we as fans, it's one of those things that we really like to hear. A lot of players have come in over the years for the paycheck. Haven't really shown that much desire. I'm not that much of a passion merchant, but I kind of like to see things like this happen. When players actually want to be here. So yeah, it's good. I wasn't under any. I wasn't really worried that he wasn't going to sign, because I think you can tell like this guy really wants to play here.
Yeah.
And I think that he probably could have left at some point, obviously, because he wasn't getting that much gameplay. They played Palistri ahead of him, all sorts of players ahead of him and stuff. But I think he wanted to stay and prove himself. And yeah, happy days, man. Happy days. I just don't know how much he's being paid. I just hope it's not, I hope it's not something that kind of just, derails his focus. But yeah, happy to have him here, man.
To be honest, with everything that you said about AMAD as a person, that didn't even come into the forefront of my mind, how much he's being paid, It didn't even, like, if someone else was signing a deal, I don't want to name examples, but that probably would be something like, oh, well, how much is he on?
Yeah.
But with AMAD, it's kind of like you said, I remember a press conference in pre-season when he got asked about, I think it was KG actually, the comedian who asked it, and he was like, I can see myself staying here forever. I love this club and I love this place and that kind of stuff. So you can kind of see, I don't think it would have been much of a hard bargaining to kind of say, AMAD, look, we want you to stay. What are the figures? I don't think it would have gone down like that necessarily. So I think that kind of speaks volumes of what kind of person he is. He's kind of devoted Muslim, practices, works extremely hard. Everything about him I love. And like we've pushed him on his channel so much, and it's nice to see a new deal in it.
And he deserves it, because I think he was still on his initial deal from Atalanta, which was, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
That was a while ago. So yeah, I think with the performances now, it's a smart thing to do to kind of tie him in. He's one of the few players that we have that can play a number of roles in this system. You understand? Because whenever we have the players we have now, a lot of them can just play just one position.
Yeah.
There's no, AMAD can play, wing back, attacking. I won't be surprised if he plays, centrally, anything. So yeah, it's great. It's great to have him here.
Obviously, Jason Wilcox is starting to get a bit more of a senior role at United. The more we hear about him, the more we read about him. And he's been speaking about, obviously, the development side of things. He's been saying everyone's delighted. His quality on the ball, versatility and determination makes him a key part of the future at Manchester United. The best years of his career ahead of him. And we all look forward to helping AMAD to reach his immense potential and achieve success at the club in the coming seasons. But I just think it's been interesting watching his development, hasn't it? Like, if you think about the chapters he's been through with Rangers, then Sunderland, then not even getting an opportunity under Erik ten Hag. It's crazy, like, the roads players taking it to get to, like, where they're at, where is that now, I suppose.
It's a very risky business, because you could go out on loan and not perform, and that just kills your confidence, and it changes your trajectory as a young player going forward. And some people can just lose their way from there. We've seen it happen so many times. I remember, a lot of you remember this guy, but there was a guy called Fabian Brandy, who was like one of our top academy prospects. And every year he'd go on loan somewhere else, and then it just seemed like nothing really came out from that. And then I think even, what's his name? More recently, Charlie McNeil went to Port Vale or somewhere.
Went a few places.
It's a risky business. And AMAD's first loan stint didn't really work out too well, I think. He played well at Rangers, but we didn't get the sort of
He had moments
impact
in
that he.
it rather than
Yeah,
like
it was
consistency.
moments exactly. Yeah, it wasn't like over. But then Sunderland kind of just saved him. Sort of, he went in there, fitting well, got in well with the fans, and just kind of took it. So it's a very risky business when you go out on loan. Honestly,
Yeah.
it doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like, Chelsea are like the prime example of that. And the amount of players they send out on loan from the academies, and they'll just like shift him and wait until they find the perfect one, peak a bit of value, and then they'll end up selling him or something. But with AMAD, I feel like he's definitely a fighter because you can't go through the loan spells that you have. Going to Rangers, then getting to Sunderland, finally hitting that peak where you're like, okay, I can kick on to the next step now. Then you go back to United, and then it's like,
yeah,
well, you know, Forson's ahead of you, Palistri's ahead of you, Anthony's ahead of you. You're like, I'm not getting a fucking minute. I actually thought genuinely at some point he was going to leave.
yeah.
I felt
Me
that.
too. But then another thing, and I'm sure you've noticed this, and probably everyone else has noticed this, is that it's not just the fight that he's got, but I'm not pleased with a certain confidence.
Mm.
Like I've seen, well, like when we first signed him, and I was looking at his like comps from Atalanta, and he doesn't play like he's a young, like he just plays like he's meant to be there.
Yep.
And even when we gave him scraps, he still came in and performed. When he came in and scored against AC Milan, played well. There was another game I can't remember. I think it must have been like Forest or something where he had like a cameo. But every time you saw him, there was something there, and he was always trying to prove himself. And that's one thing that I think his confidence has really carried him a long way, because we've seen a lot of players kind of like fold when it was game time, you know, under the lights, and he should really be proud of himself. And I'm so glad that that was one thing that he was able to keep um, as part of his skill set, just having that confidence to keep him going. Because if you've got Pellistri, Garnacho, Anthony, and then Forson, right, anybody would be easily crushed.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, the perseverance. Yeah, I'm just happy he's stuck at it, to be honest.
Well, you used the word proud there, and Ahmad kicks his statement off of that, saying, I'm really proud to have signed this new contract. I have some incredible moments with this club already, but there is so much more to come. I have huge ambitions in the game, and I want to achieve history at Manchester United. It's been a difficult season for everyone, but I fully believe that we're on the right path, and the future is going to be really special. I have learned so much since arriving here. I'm very grateful to the coaches and staff who have helped me to develop, and to the fans for driving me forward every day. Like we said, he's had a bit of a mad journey, but where would you say in your mind, at least, where you felt like he arrived? Do you know what I mean? You felt like, oh, okay, there's a player here. I could see something. Do you have like a reference point?
The AC Milan goal was kind of like, I mean, I think everybody would be forgiven to think if that was like a flash in the pan, because we didn't see him enough time.
Yeah.
But I think it's this season. I think for me, it was when Amarin came, when we played, when we all knew he was talented. We've seen the training ground comps and all that kind of stuff. No, sorry, I'm lying. Last season against Liverpool.
I was waiting. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that was his
That
moment,
was
and that was like
that was his moment. But I think because after that, we didn't see him again that much. If you remember clearly, yeah. But no, last season against Liverpool, yeah, I think that was the season where he arrived. That was the moment. You know, he took off his jersey. I think did he get a red card?
He got red card. Yeah, he got sent off.
He got a red card. Yeah.
I mean, you can't,
yeah,
as a United fan, you can't really ask for more, can you? Like, we're scoring the winner, knocking Liverpool out, and then taking your shirt off and getting sent off at it, like with the winning goal. There's nothing you could have done more.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, is that your favourite Ahmad moment? Do you reckon? Because he's had a couple now, hasn't he? You think about the derby as well. That goal was incredible.
That was incredible. Off the top of my head, I'll say yes, but I think there's probably. Yeah, off the top of my head, I'll probably say the Liverpool moment, but I'm sure there's others.
He's had a few.
He's had quite a few.
Yeah, and I think that
but
also
I think
speaks to his...
Go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think that also speaks to his character, the goals that he scored. Because everyone can have a moment. I mean, Anthony had a moment against Arsenal when he first signed for the club, and everyone thought he was going to kick on from that, and it didn't really happen. But now he's had multiple ones away. I mean, he's just got the equaliser at Anfield in the most recent game. Don't forget that.
Yeah. I think for me, I think I'd have to go with the City one because
Just
that
because of the
was
finish.
yeah, just because it came out of nowhere. I remember seeing that and it went in, and I sat down. I didn't celebrate for like 10 seconds because I was like, I needed to make sure like that actually went in. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's the touch. I mean, I loved Henry's analysis on that. I don't know if you saw it on Monday Night Football. He was speaking about the spacing and and like where his eyes follow the ball and the placement of it and how he touches it and cushions it around the keeper. He said this on the eyes of maybe some people it might just look like he's kind of nicked it around the keeper, but it's not that. It's the amount of skill and talent that goes into that goal, the way he kind of created it for himself and scored, like there's a lot more to it. And coming from someone like Thierry Henry, you'd probably tend to listen to him, wouldn't you? So, yeah, I thought that was a mega moment. Obviously, even the goal against Liverpool, you watch it, like the pass from Garnacho is fucking way off. And he has to kind of like, tuck his leg right underneath it and somehow it crawls in. And then, being in that stadium for that moment was incredible, man.
Yeah, he has to anticipate that. Like he anticipated it, and it was a gamble because it was literally 3 defenders that the ball went through, and he came out of nowhere and then just plays it in. Like Alisson could have saved it, but nobody expected that to happen. But it's just that instinct from a player, like that. So yeah.
I've got a stat for you. Since Manchester United parted ways with Erik ten Hag, AMAD has played 1,125 minutes of football across all competitions. He scored 5 goals and registered 6 assists in that time. That's a goal involvement every 102 minutes on average. That's mad. That's absolutely mad.
That's crazy. I think that's the one thing that Ten Hag sort of like... Because do you remember when we're trying to make excuses for Ten Hag? Like, maybe he's not physically fit. Yeah,
maybe he's not working hard enough. That was one of the things.
Working hard enough and blah blah blah. Like, this guy, we know what he can do, but some coaches have their favorites all the time.
But it's just weird, though, isn't it? Because surely he must be sat there now, he's obviously paying attention to United games. Definitely, Erik ten Hag, since he's left the club, he would have been watching nearly every one, I'd imagine, just to see that. Okay, let's see who turns up here. Let's see who starts playing well. Now I'm not there. But he must be looking at AMAD and thinking, maybe I missed a trick with that.
He definitely did. Honestly.
I couldn't believe it at the time when we sat there. Because I remember he had a cameo against Nottingham Forest. I don't know if you remember it. It was like December time when he first got his first 10, 15 minutes properly. Yeah. And even in that, the combination, I mean, even you was discussing it after, it was talking about the combinations with Bruno, and you said specifically how he brings everyone into play with him, and he looks like that kind of...
Yeah.
It was like, we haven't got any of them players. It's crazy.
I don't know if it was like the whole Dutch thing with Omari Forson. Maybe he felt he had to do something for that. Maybe he felt responsible for Omari Forson. So maybe there's an excuse there. With Pelistri, there's no excuse. Anthony, he spent a lot of money on there, so
that's political, isn't it? Probably.
Yeah, but then there's literally no excuse, and but I mean, happy. Well, there's no point dwelling on what happened before. Like, I'm just happy he's here, signed a new deal. I think it's till 2030. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Happy days. James McGogan, good evening to you, sir. UTFR saying, have we swapped Rashford for Kvaratskhelia yet, lads? Well done on the 10K, by the way, as well. I'm glad you've mentioned the swap deal thing, because there is a lot of stuff ongoing with Marcus Rashford at the moment. And I keep saying this every show now, Javier, and I'm sure you're probably sick of seeing headlines around him as well. But it feels like it's the merry-go-round of Marcus Rashford. Like, it's this club, it's Dortmund, Juventus, Milan, and left, right, centre. But apparently at the minute, according to decent journalists, I would say, AC Milan seems like the most concrete one. Apparently he's been convinced by Zlatan Ibrahimovic's project and how they're going to build around him, and they'll pay half his wages, but there's still ongoing discussions in terms of how that's going to work, etc. And apparently their sales pitch to Rashford was, you're going to be the main man and we'll build the team around you. That's coming out from Sky, where I saw that. So look, we spoke enough from the United side, saying like, if he goes, this will happen, da-da-da. But just speaking in terms of for Marcus, do you think San Siro, Milan is an exciting opportunity for him and he could do well?
I think so. I think anywhere in Italy, really, because we've seen lots of Premier League players, especially from Man United, leave and then go there. Like Ashley Young, when he won Serie A.
Scudetto.
Lukaku won the Serie A. McTominay
Alexis
is balling out.
Sanchez. Darmian.
Sanchez won there. Darmian, Matic.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Literally.
Smalling at Roma.
Yeah. Chris Smalling, Roma. Like everyone.
That's why I'm saying ship them all off, man. Get them all over to Italy.
We could probably make a team of like ex-United players.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a graphic for it.
in Serie A now. And I'm sure at least he must have spoken to at least Scott McTominay, at the very least.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about Italy. So there's other English boys there too. There's Tammy. There's so many. And I think, yeah. So I think it's a good destination for him. Italy's Milan, fashionable, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. And for me, my only concern is just the wages. The quicker we can get him off, the better. If he plays well, we can sell him, whatever it is. I think the main thing, because the manager has kind of made it clear without actually saying it, but I think, actions speak louder than words. And we know for a fact that he's not part of the project. That's what it is. And for us as fans, I think that what we need is just the quicker we can get him off the books and settled somewhere else, respectfully, the better. Because then we can use the funds for other projects. I've heard about the Kvaratskhelia. I don't think Napoli are
great pronunciation, I have to say.
Did I get it? I just fumbled.
I don't know myself, mate. I just say Kvaratskhelia. I don't know if that's correct. No idea.
There's no way Napoli are gonna want cash. I don't think they're gonna do. Yeah, they're not gonna do a swap deal for 20 million. Rashford and no way. They want cold hard cash. So yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, with Rashford at Milan, yeah, it's a good deal. Hopefully he plays well. We get money for him. I mean, if Tammy, all due respect to Tammy, but if he can go there and ball out.
At least he scored the winner in the AC Milan derby, actually, for AC Milan against Inter. Scored the last minute winner. And they were the only 3-2 in the cup. Tammy Abraham.
Oh, yeah, because Serie A is very direct. Direct football. Yeah. Marcus Rashford is perfect for that. Doesn't have to think about anything. He can just be there. So yeah, I think. Yeah.
I know what you're saying, though. I know what you mean.
Systems and all that kind of stuff, track back and all that kind of. So just go there, be direct.
I think it's more respectable on Marcus's side as well, isn't it? Because the links that we saw with Saudi Arabia, which I don't really think there's anything in it, to be honest. I think people are just throwing names about. I think people would kind of look down on him if he took that Saudi move and took the money. If he's going there and took his kind of PR thing over there. I didn't like that. I think going to Milan, they're still a historic club. I mean, they're probably in a similar situation to what United are in at the moment. They're not at the peaks of their powers where they used to be, even 5-10 years ago. So Marcus going there could actually become a star, could become a clutch player for him because they need goals. They're not scoring a lot of goals at the minute. Everyone's raving about Rafael Leao, but I think he's got 2 goals so far in the league this season. Like, he's not smashing it. He's a very talented player. So it's worth the gamble, but the finances, like you touched on, that's going to be the biggest thing in this deal for me.
Absolutely. This is why I thought he might end up at MLS, because I thought they might try to do, when David Beckham went to MLS, like try to make it like a bigger project.
Yeah.
And he will become like, because he will be perfect for that. Like the face of the MLS. He's always in America anyway. He likes to go there to party and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's friends with the NBA.
We'll have to fly out with it.
Yeah, he's friends with like the NBA players and musicians and stuff. So I thought it would be like an attractive thing. He's got friends there, that sort of stuff. He can go there, be the face of it, which would be a good project for them. And I thought maybe Beckham might try and do something with Inter Miami, or and then because with that, they would be able to pay the wages that we really, they'll be able to take him off our hands and then pay him that sort of money. Work a deal with, I don't know, EA Sports or whatever. He becomes like, the face of just, sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. And then we can get him off the books easily because he can then get paid his wage over there. So this is what I thought that might be an option, but either way, it's fine.
the profile he brings over to America as well, you can imagine it'd be massive over there, wouldn't it? You could just see it straight away. I do feel like that move will happen, but I think that'll be next 4 years.
Later on.
I think there'll be an in-between club where he eventually moves to, and then I think MLS, he can relax it a little bit. You don't have to be as, you've seen loads of players do it, and Giroud's there at the minute, Chiellini, Zlatan, loads of players have done it. So I see that more as a move that, next 4 or 5 years. Punch Paint saying, I remember the chat saying free AMAD a year ago. Player of the month twice, well deserved, and way to stick your game. Nobody cares, work harder. 90k a week, well worth it. Congrats on 10k, fellas. Mega. Thank you very much, Punch Paint. I don't see Rashi making the 26 World Cup squad unless he really likes it up in the easy. That's the crazy thing as well. That's something we're not even discussed. World Cup in America, in Canada, and Mexico, I think it is, spread across 3 countries. Does he have a chance at all if he does have an uplifting form? Or do you think there's too many ahead of him at the minute?
I mean, a lot can change in a year. A lot can change in a year.
But do you rate the other wingers above him? Like Anthony Gordon, for example, is doing really well with Newcastle at the minute. I'm trying to think who else plays in that. Jack Grealish isn't really doing much for Man City. So Gordon's probably the biggest threat, unless he's someone that I'm missing. I can't really. Harvey Barnes, like
like football now, like it's like recency bias is a big thing, right? Marcus Rashford just needs to score 3 goals in a row, and then he's back to his best. And then once somebody whispers it on the show, on like Monday Night Football or something, it becomes a thing, and then it just grows. So like now he's not playing well. Everyone's just talking about that. As soon as he bangs in a couple of goals, that's it. He's back on track.
Yeah.
And we all know the potential that he's got. So that would also play in his favor. But it's all about what you've done recently. It's not really about, it's one of those ones. Like very soon we'll forget about. I'm not saying, I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
But then if Rashford scores a couple of goals, maybe Harvey Barnes gets, an injury, or we'll forget who that is all of a sudden. And then Rashford, it will be the flavor of the month.
It's basically whoever's in the form from like March onwards, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah,
Get picked.
A lot can change in a couple of months, really. So,
and that's why I think they'll be pushing for this deal in January, because it's like if he doesn't move, I think he could probably categorically say I'm not going to go to the World Cup. Whereas if he goes to AC Milan, really starts playing well again, Tuchel goal, okay, I might bring him in. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Tuchel is like the new manager. Yeah, okay.
That's what I mean. So even systematically, I don't know, because Tuchel plays a similar system to Amarin from what I've seen, which is why Mount played so well in there. So I don't know, even if he is at peaks of his powers, if he does, maybe goes there as a striker, I'm not entirely sure. But then that's even more difficult because you've got players like Watkins and Harry Kane and all these strikers. I don't know.
Yeah, and Tuchel isn't English; he's German, so there's not going to be that sort of bias. Connection, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that bias, that connection, he's not going to be thinking about that. He's going to be thinking about what's best for his system.
Fucking winning.
What's best for him, for the team, for winning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no sort of, because for a number of years, like a lot of Man United players kind of it used to be easy for them to sort of get into the team just because you played for Man United at the time, And we've seen it recently with Luke Shaw as well. Like, how he made the team, like obviously, I mean, I'm sure you could have got quite a few other left backs, but with Tuchel now it's completely different. Now, he won't be looking at that; would not cross his mind at all as consideration. So he's got work in his hands.
Yeah, I agree. If we do let him go, though, obviously we're going to need a replacement. Kolo Muani, we'd already spoken about on loan, which could be a potential thing that we do. Feel free to add your thoughts on that. But also, Kvaratskhelia, there's a lot of noise around him at the moment. We touched on it briefly before. But apparently, United do really like him. But with the funds that are involved, I mean, if they want, I think, €80 million, £67 million for him. I love him as a player. I think he'd be perfect in Amarin's system. But January, they are never going to spend that money, are they, in January?
No. Well, it's Ineos. Right, they are the most unpredictable.
Yeah,
unpredictable. True. Yeah, they're so unpredictable. Like you can't really get a read on them, and they're very decisive when it comes to like making decisions. And it's one of those ones where if the math makes sense, if they can sort of pull it off with funds, moving players here and there, I'm sure they can do that. But it's highly unlikely for such a high-profile player to make the move in January. I don't see it happening. I wouldn't be surprised because Ineos has kind of showed us that once they set their mind on something, like they're that decisive. So I won't be surprised. But yeah, I think he'll be perfect for this role. Like that is the prototype of what we need in this system. Yeah. Because we've spoken about this a few times where why we suffer a lot is because this system needs specialists, especially in attacking areas. You need dynamic players who can do everything. They've got the pace, got the physicality, they can beat a man, they can exploit the space, they're good in tight spaces, passing balls in between. He does all of that, right? You could get maybe pace from Garnacho, but you can't get the tight. He's bad in tight spaces, like all the quick passing and all that. You don't get that from Garnacho. You don't get that from Rashford as well. He's good on the ball, but decision making is terrible. You don't get that sort of leadership. But then a player like I'll try again. Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Did I get it? Yeah. Yeah, a player like him, like that is ideal for the system. And if we can pull it off, why not?
I think one thing I would emphasize as well on those areas in the pitch is intelligence. Football, we don't have enough intelligent players. And it's not even necessarily just on the ball, it's off the ball movements as well. Which you see from a lot. I mean, City are well, maybe not in the moment, but typically they are the masters of manipulating space. And you see sometimes the players, obviously it is a new system, so they're trying to get used to it, and they haven't had many training sessions, so you can kind of put an asterisk next to that for them. But
intelligence, like you say, it comes into that. Like when you're intelligent, when you have a football IQ, you adapt.
Bernardo Silva's one of the smartest players you'll ever see. Put him in the system, sorted.
You adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's dream thinking. You're in dreamland at the minute. I think PSG are favourites anyway. But then even then I was thinking, well, do PSG need another winger? Like, they've just bought that DIALLO, I think, from the German league. They've got Bradley Barcola, who's killing it for him at the minute. They've got Dembele, Asensio. Like, they've got loads of players. I'm thinking, just strange. PSG are just a weird team for me, personally. In the market, they just go and buy players, and it's like, we don't care if they're going to fit or not. We're just going to do it. Strange, bizarre team. AG507, what might be the reason Rash wants to leave? I think we all know that reason. I mean, I don't know if you want me to mention it, but it's time, innit? I think everyone, the United fans, himself included, people around him are probably just thinking it's time. He's not getting games at the minute. It's just time to move on. Simple as that for me. Now, the last story we're going to touch on, Chive. Christopher Vell, the interim director of recruitment, is now in talks over taking up a permanent position at Manchester United. There is some optimism that an agreement could be reached with Vell in the coming weeks. Now, we don't obviously get to see the work on the inside, so we don't know the intricate, specific things. But from the outside looking in, the work that him and Jason Wilcox are doing looks pretty promising at the moment, doesn't it, in terms of the young talents that they're recruiting and bringing in and the structure they're setting up, from what it seems, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he's highly rated. I don't really know that much about him. I only found out about him when he was linked to us and when he moved and all that kind of stuff. I have a lot of confidence in Ineos. I know they're kind of unpopular now with the fan base, but
it's an understatement.
Yeah, but I really like the way that they're operating, and I think they get a lot of grief. But the thing is, they're trying to put right a lot of stuff that's been wrong by the previous administration. And there's no soft approach to some of these issues. You have to be. I think I like the decisiveness that they operate with, the quick thinking and all that. Anyway, I say all that to say I trust a lot of appointments that they've made. Even the ones that didn't work out, they were quick to kind of get rid of them. So with Dan Ashworth. And I think they have someone who's basically singing from the same song sheet with them. And I think, I mean, I don't know too much about what he's been doing. But obviously, if they're impressed with him and they're trying to make it permanent, then it could only be good. I mean, we've had to deal with Richard Arnold. It's so... we've had to deal with people that had absolutely no experience in football. Like, we probably would know more about football players and people like that. So I'm not going to complain, Vivell and what. Yeah, we finally have people with a football background in there. So I'm happy. And yeah, let's see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then on to the next one.
Yeah, I remember doing my initial research on him when he first came in, like you said yourself, and I remember the work that he had done at Leipzig, I think it was, and Chelsea, and he'd done really, really well. And there was a lot of, I don't know what's the way to work, like praise for him in that kind of area from people who are in the know, who like, they do these kind of deep articles about him. And I just think, I don't know, I'm liking what from that side of things. I don't like the cuts that Ratcliffe's making and all that kind of stuff, because like you said, that is making him unpopular at the minute. But Wilcox in particular, I'm liking a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing from there, because I remember the friction between Ten Hag and Wilcox on the Ugarte signing. Like, Ten Hag didn't really want him. He wanted to keep all the McTominay and da. And you look at Ugarte now, and it's just like spotting that talent and developing him and recruiting him. That is what we have craved for so long at United. So to see that now and getting these young, like Sekou Kone, who's coming and looks like extremely talented, Chido Obi Martin from Arsenal, these kids that are coming up, they're setting up for the future as well. Yoro's another one really push through for. So yeah, look, it's positive signs in the recruitment department, which has been so bad for so long. So yeah, I think on all fronts, everything we discussed today, I think it's been pretty positive in general, which is hard to say a lot of the time around Manchester United. So
well, we managed to avoid defeat, so the news around United now is slightly positive. I mean,
it's weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah. If we lost that game to Liverpool,
Lucas is ready like that.
Yeah, it would have been a whole different sort of thing. What's up with the Cobby thing?
The what? The Cobby?
Cobby, yeah.
Yeah. So
do we have any? Is there any definitive news here at the moment?
No definitive. And there's a lot of scaremongering going on about this at the moment. What's been mentioned is Ineos are open to anyone being sold, basically, bar AMAD and Euro, because of PSR rules and stuff. And people have taken that and ran with it and said, oh, they're going to sell Garnacho, they're going to sell Cobby and da. It's not really that. I was listening to David Ornstein before speaking about it. It was like, they've not openly said we are looking to sell these players. It is just, we wouldn't be fully close to the idea, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's going to upset United fans, because everyone's like, keep Cobby, build around him for the future. I would personally probably rather sell someone like a Garnacho, to be honest. If you're looking systematically who suits and who can grow, I think you can get a bit of money for Garnacho if you're going to do it. But I would prefer to keep young talents like that personally. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, same. I'd like to. I mean, it's a massive thing. Did both of them score in the final?
Yeah.
I know Cobby got one. I don't remember.
No, Garnacho. Do you remember Gavardio's mistake and Garnacho capitalized?
Oh, yes,
scored.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a big thing, for United fans and all that. But I also like the fact that they are aware that they're not untouchable, and they're aware that the positions can also become untenable at some point. So they don't sort of have this birthright to just perform.
Yeah.
In some ways, that's kind of like what the kind of space that Marcus Rashford kind of went into, because he's been at United his whole life. He's like part of the furniture now. And you kind of would always have to play Marcus Rashford for whatever.
Because when a manager comes in and they drop him, it's almost like you're dropping me. Like, I'm the guy here.
Yeah, well, exactly. So even though we're not planning on selling them, they just need to be aware that they're not, untouchable. So when we start to negotiate new deals, you can't walk in and ask for 300,000 or whatever it is. Or if you don't get selected for, you can't just, kick up a fuss. You have to be aware that you're not indispensable as a player, and you have to prove yourself in the team. You don't just get to be in the team because you're from the academy. So as much as I like both of them, I like them to stay. It's a good message. It's a good signal to send out to them to keep them hungry.
But United make a rod for their own back when they give, I think it's like over 8 players above £200,000 a week, because then when people are asking for contracts, the gap is that big from your top earner. How can you deny it? How can you say, if Cobby's sat there and he's saying, right, okay, with all due respect, I know Casemiro, everything he's done in the game, he's on £350,000 a week, and he's not getting a game at the moment. I am a key cog in this system alongside Manuel Ugarte for the future. So how do you know what I mean? Like, how can you? It's a lot easier to turn around and go, listen, mate, Bruno's on 200, you're getting 100, and that's how it's done.
Yeah,
but it isn't like that.
Well, yeah, but what they'll say is, well, the people who gave Casemiro that contract are not here anymore.
Yeah.
It's a completely
They're
different.
long gone.
Yeah, the long gone. It's a completely different house right now. It's the new wardens are running the jail. Those old guys are gone. Yeah, literally. Yeah. So it's a new day. Things don't happen like that anymore. I mean, it's crazy. People like, I know it's not his fault, but like Mason Mount is on like 250.
Mm,
Anthony's on like 200. Like it's insane.
mad.
Even what's his name? Tom Heaton's like 45 grand.
But
That is
Cobby
just crazy.
it doesn't strike me as the type of guy to be like, I want this amount of money. For
No,
me
he
personally.
wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. But his agent, I don't know who his agent is, but his agent, that's his agent's role. Like your agent is supposed to push for the highest that they can get you, even if you don't want it. But they're also, that's their job, to get the best deal that they can get for you. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong in because if you're one of the most important players in the team right now, and you're like the least paid, I don't care who you are, you're going to you're going to want some kind of parity, just a little bit of, because Garnacho is on like 50 now, and if Kobe's on 20 and Anthony is getting like I don't know how many times more than he is, and he's not even played.
10 times
and like in the 10 times much in the changing room, on the training pitch, there's regardless of whether it's mentioned, there's some level of seniority, like
1,000,000%.
Yeah, and then he's like, you're older than me, but like I'm a senior player.
I remember it with Maguire with his move to West Ham. That was supposed to happen. I think West Ham offered around 30 million. And I remember at the time, obviously Maguire at United's on £200,000 a week, and West Ham was offering, I think, 100. And I remember loads of people saying, "Well, just drop the 100,000 and then move to West Ham." And I'm thinking, fuck off. If you was in that position, you could go, all right, just to go to a lesser club because the fans want it. I'm gonna drop £400,000 a month to do that. It's no one is doing that. People moan when they about 50p per hour, like the difference. You know what I'm saying? So. 100 grand a week is a lot of fucking money. Look,
absolutely no. Do you know how many investments he has? How many businesses are relying on that extra 100 grand?
Yeah,
like, there's a lot going on.
People forget it's a job as well, don't they? That's the thing.
It's his job. Yeah, I'd rather stay in the place that if I'm being paid and my country, if they can't force me out, I'll stay there. For another 2 years. Yeah, get my.
It's a good job you're not at United anyway. You're £350,000 a week. Like, nah, I'm not going anywhere, mate. I'm staying here.
No.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to leave it. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. I know a lot of people like to tune in when it's not live as well. So anyone who's currently watching, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe. We're on 10,037 subs now. So the next target is 50k people. Keep an eye out for content coming your way over the weekend. We're going to do a live with the lads, but there's also something else in the works that they're working on at the moment. And a fun guest appearance, hopefully, towards the end of the month, which we'll announce shortly as well. So, yeah, loads of good stuff coming out, content. So turn out the notification bell, smash a like on the video, subscribe. Big thank you to Chivy taking time out of his day to come on and discuss the mighty Manchester United. And, yeah, look, we've got the Chivy Derby on Sunday, so we'll have the preview tomorrow for that. We'll be discussing that in depth. We've had a full week now of training and stuff, which is exciting. So yeah, let's see where we're at. There's a lot of positivity at the minute, and it's nice to see. So big up Chivy, big up everyone watching.